about what if no man that you are dating, that you are matching is good enough? You're all attracting men who are low effort, broke, poor, and you're just rolling your eyes and thinking, where do I get this man that I want? And I remember this time myself too, where I was just like scrolling on those dating apps, and I felt like, first of all, overwhelmed because there are just so many men on there, and secondly, just like this is so low quality, like no guy is just good enough at my standard or someone that I liked. And even my mom was like, why do you not like anyone? And I mean, there were moments where I kind of questioned myself if maybe I want too much or I want something that's, I don't know, out of my league. But you have to know something about me as a personality. I'm the type of person, if I put something in my head, it's very difficult to get it out of there. If I put something in my head, you can't convince me to let it go. Yeah, I remember also when I was much younger, I just put something in my head and it had to happen. I wanted to have bracelets, and actually, no one was to pay for it. I found a way to pay for it when I was like a kid. I sold all of my toys, all of my games in school. I found, like as a kid, I don't know, but also later when I was older, I wanted to go to the US to high school, but no one paid for it. I myself found money to go to the US. Yeah, I'm from Germany. And the story continued when I was dating, and I was like attracting those men who, when I was going on a date, they told me to just drink tap water, or they didn't want any commitment. Like deep inside, even before I had a coach, even before all of that was on YouTube, I just knew deep inside my heart that no, that's not what I want. Like I want a high value man. I want a man who is good looking, who is wealthy, who is attractive, who is kind. I just knew. I think um yeah, that's just part of me, and I'm very stubborn. I am so stubborn. Like this is just my personality. I'm not proud of that, but forgive me, I was 5 years old. Um uh I couldn't get into a room that was locked. It was like a glass. And I don't know what I was doing. I kept pushing that door, glass door. I don't know if I hit it. I don't even remember. I was really small, but I literally broke that door. I even have a scar from that still. I'm so stubborn. Sometimes I'm even annoyed of myself that I'm so stubborn. But even before I had a coach who would kind of like tell me, yes, you can have a millionaire man, you can go out with them. I knew I'm gonna have it. I didn't, honestly, I had coaches for dating, but I didn't have a coach for that. I even had coaches who told me, why do you need that? Like, why do you need a top 1% man? Just get a normal guy. And I have, by the way, so many clients who also told me that there were other coaches who told them, like, why do you want this man who has those points, who's good looking, who's top? Just get a normal guy. Like, he's proposing, just take him. No. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have something in your heart where you know it has to happen, this is what I want, I'm here to tell you that don't give up. Don't give up. Just praying and doing nothing isn't helping either, right? But don't give up and do whatever it takes to get there. Do you guys know this song? Whatever it takes, cause I like the adrenaline in my face. I think it's from what's the band? Something with dragons. That was my favorite song. That was my favorite song because it was like, yeah, I want it and I do whatever it takes, you know? So when I was like going through this phase where every single guy was just like a no, 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 I think my stubbornness really, really helped me to stay on track. And even I had friends who were telling me, why you even want that? Just drop it. I was like, no, no, I have to do this. I have to do this. And this is something that I'm very, very grateful for, right? But also, if you are like me and if you feel like I am not stubborn is kind of not a good word, but like I am a very driven woman. I'm a woman, I know what I want. I know I have to get this kind of partner, and you don't want to give up, you don't have to, because honestly, I don't know about you, but if I would settle down with a man that I don't really want, that isn't at my level, that isn't someone that I feel like, uh, again, this is, I feel like is it like at my level, I think forever resent that. I would not be happy, and I think sooner or later I would break up anyways. So what's the point, right? So if you are right now also on dating apps and you feel like every single guy is just not what I want, it's just not good enough basically, or he just doesn't want what I want. Maybe he is wealthy, but then he is not having the personality that I want. I don't want you to give up. Yeah. And again, there is actually a fine line between delusion and like true possibility. And I personally believe the fine line is in the actions. Because if someone else has what you want, and if you're willing to actually take actions, you are willing to invest your time, energy, and money into something, it's no longer delusional. You know what I mean? Like, let me give you another example. If I really desired to own a house, which right now I don't, I'm happy with my apartment, but let's say I desired that. I mean, there are many people who have a house, right? If I just like sit down and just desire it and like dream about it, it won't happen. But if I'm willing to spend time, energy, money into earning the money for the house, buying it, finding a good house, taking care of it, taking care of the whole garden, it's gonna happen. The same is in your dating. If you want to settle down, but you want a top 1% man, it's definitely something that you can have. But I know how frustrating it can be when you are dating and you're swiping left the whole time because, or maybe you swiped right and then you have a conversation with the guys and you're like, oh, this is not what I want, or they always disappear. And this goes on for months and months. I completely hear you. I completely hear you that it's frustrating. And then you know how it is, like when you're single, you also start feeling lonely and you start feeling like the need to having a companion. And then a lot of women start being with someone who is a placeholder, and that's not necessarily helping, right? But sometimes taking more action is good, but sometimes it's not leading you to the breakthrough. So in my own life, I personally had to work on especially two things, maybe three. But I'm just sharing you my story. Disclaimer, every woman is actually having their own blockages or things to tweak on. So that's something that I can only find out when you are talking to me directly. So if you'd like to already talk to me, I give you a gift, a free love audit call. I put the link in the description box. It's a 10 minutes call where you can ask me your questions and I can already share with you anything you'd like to know. But my own story is that I myself was financially not embodied in abundance, even though I had money in my bank account and I somehow manifested everything that I needed. But whenever I went to the store, and I had to pay for groceries, I had to pay for something, there was like this feeling in my stomach where I felt, ah, I'm losing money. This is not enough money. So I wasn't really embodied in abundance. So I worked on that and become embodied in abundance. And then actually I was abundant, right? Like I was having money, I could pay for anything I wanted. I just like swiped my card. I could spontaneously book trips, buy whatever food I wanted, so buy whatever coaching I wanted. So that leveled up. But then I was not. By the way, I put the steps how to get there of my journey, what I learned, and how I coach clients to go from this lack mindset and abundance mindset in my course, Calling Your Millionaire. Okay, it's my money mindset course. You can also check it out. But so then I was kind of abundant, right? Like I could pay anything, I felt really abundant. But then the second problem was, then I started attracting again broke guys who wanted me to pay for stuff. So before I attracted broke guys who didn't want to pay for anything, and I started attracting men who wanted me to pay for stuff, who asked me for money, and I was like, I don't want to yell now, but I was just like feeling so frustrated. I'm like, what is this? Do I look like someone who's going to pay for you or will lend you money? I mean, come on. I already knew I'm not gonna do it. But I was still frustrated. I was like, okay, I learned my abundant mindset. Yeah, I'm abundant now, great. But I want a man who's a provider. I want a top 1% man who takes care of me, even though I'm abundant. Like I want someone at my level. My desire didn't change. And then I had to kind of like learn to receive. Learn to receive abundance in my feminine energy. Because at this point, I was abundant because I was working hard, I was, making things happen. But there was a part of me that felt maybe unworthy to just be and receive. Yeah, there was a part of me that felt like, mm, I don't know if I can get it because I don't do anything for it. Like, I don't know if a man would even like pay for me because I don't do anything for it. And it felt a little bit uncomfortable. It felt even vulnerable because, you know, there was like still this limiting belief that, what if he wants to take advantage of me if I receive something from him. But I was self-aware and I also had coaching, so I was like, okay, let's work through that. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm also helping you if you have the same problem, but if you have another problem, you can also work through that. But I had this problem and I was like, okay, let's open up to receive. I'm abundant now. I'm a match for wealthy men. But now I need to be a match for someone who's willing to give to me. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's train for it. And I said to this discomfort and I allowed myself to be taken care of and receive. And this is where I started attracting affluent men who also wanted to provide for me, who also wanted to commit. And through this journey, as you can see, is like what I'm just trying to tell you basically is that at this point where I was swiping the whole time left or even right, and I realized there's just no good man for me, no one fits to me, in this moment I felt very frustrated, right? But because I looked inside, I never gave up on my desire, what kind of man I want to be with. But because I looked inside and I had the extra support, I could work through my limitations. How am I contributing to that? Yeah, the first step was that I myself was in survival mindset, then I couldn't receive. Yeah, and then later I could talk to you forever about this, but later again about commitment. I didn't then okay, I attract wealthy men. Okay, but now I want a wealthy man who is committed to me. Okay, how do I do that? Yeah, how do I do that? Every man that I'm talking to doesn't want commitment. And again, I looked inside. What in me attracts that? And I could have never just find it out logically, but I had again coaches, somatic healers, trauma informed coaches, where I really felt into this. That I was kind of scared of commitment. I was scared of it because I was scared that deep down I was scared to be rejected because I knew I'm not perfect. I'm just not. I have my issues. I have things that I still work through, and I still felt I will be rejected if I show who I am. So I was kind of like having a deep abandonment fear, right? And because of that, I would only talk to men who didn't want any commitment because I was like, he doesn't want to commit anyway, so I'm not gonna be rejected because he doesn't want me anyways. Great. You see, that's the self-sabotage. And I would have never gotten to the point where I started attracting men who wanted to commit. I started attracting ring after ring from top 1% millionaire men, where I was like, okay, Now I can choose who I want to be with, who I actually want to accept the ring from, right? And that's why I knew I had to work on myself. And that's why I'm telling you, ladies, that if you know you want some type of man, don't give up. But also just praying about it, or just taking action without really seeing how are you contributing to that whole thing, is not gonna make a difference. Yeah. And I just told you my personal blockages, why I didn't attract the type of man that I wanted. But since I work since 5 years with women all over the world, I'm telling you, there are a millions of reasons I could like tell you now why my clients don't attract the commitment that they want. Yeah. You can, for example, watch the testimonial that I posted a few days ago of my client who got an engagement, right? She allowed me to share her story. Most of my clients don't come publicly share their stories, it's completely fine, but a few of them do. So she was also sharing that she had to work through the ability of setting boundaries because her parents were controlling and she didn't want to have a controlling man. That was her fear. That was stopping her to allow a man to commit to her. Right? We worked through that. Boom. She got engaged. It can go that fast, ladies. So when you're right now dating and you attract the same type of men who only want fun or who are just not at your level, you want a top 1% man who's handsome, who's attractive, who's wealthy, who's a millionaire, and it's just like they're not there. Maybe reach out for a free love audit call. Let's talk, okay? Let's talk and ask you questions you want to ask, all right? And just never give up, because the truth is, I really believe if you're a woman like me who's driven and you're with someone that you don't really want to be with, and I've been there actually as well, you'll be always like having this thought, what if I'm with someone else? Like, I don't really want this guy. I want someone else. And it's not a pleasant situation, not for you, not for your partner, and it's just not. It's like being on a diet and you have to eat, I don't know, carrots the whole day, but really you want something tasty. It's just not fun, you know what I mean? And you don't need to be on a diet. Like there's no reason for that. Okay, you don't need to be on a diet on like and settle for a man that you don't really want. Okay, you get to be with a man that you want to be with. And whatever I was sharing with you, what I wanted, is just my personal desire, wish, but whatever the definition of your dream man is, you've got to have it and you will have it. I'm here to support you on your journey. The first step when we're working together is anyways figuring out what exactly you want in a man, what exactly you desire. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you ever felt like stuck in a situation where there's just like no good men out there and you just wanted to throw the app away and deinstall it and be like, okay, this is just hopeless. But the truth is there is another way, okay? And I just gave you an example how I worked through that, and I'm excited to support you on your journey as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and reach out for a free love audit call. The link is in my description box, or you can also send me an email if there's no timing that fits you well. Okay, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.